Bye.
Stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema. And they can show off clearer skin and less itch with Dupixent, the #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists that helps heal your child's skin from within. Serious allergic reactions can occur that can be severe. Tell your doctor about new or worsening eye problems, such as eye pain or vision changes, including blurred vision, joint aches and pain, or parasitic infection. Don't change or stop asthma medicines without talking to your doctor. Ask your child's eczema specialist about Dupixent.
E.T., we'll see you in Nashville.
Hey, we're taking the show to Music City, kicking it with the biggest stars in country, plus E.T. and Austin for our Suits reunion exclusive. It's a lot of fun. We're going to leave you now with some of our faves. Chip and Joanna Gaines reaching a fixer-upper milestone. Enjoy, and we'll see y'all later.
Happening now.
300 National Guard soldiers moved into what's called Camp Eagle in Eagle Pass. Governor Abbott took a tour of it earlier today. Coming up, why some neighbors have some concerns about it.
One car maker has taken its anti-theft program on the road. Hyundai is in San Antonio using software instead of hard labor to try to outsmart car thieves. We'll show you when, where, and how to take advantage of this free upgrade.
And I'm watching closely what happens in other parts of Texas, as that has a direct influence on our storm chances. I'll be back in a little bit to talk about that on the weekend. The News at 5 starts right now.
And first at 5, a new military base camp along the Texas border is now open. It's called Camp Eagle. Governor Greg Abbott announcing plans for that facility back in February. Today, he took a tour.
Our Daniela Ibarra joined the governor today in Eagle Pass. Daniela, it's been only 2 months. Is construction there finally finished?
Stephanie, everything is still being built. You see the front entrance behind me. Looks like it's open, and that's because it is, but there's still a lot that has to be built here. It's really just a skeleton of what it's going to be. Now, the governor says that this is an important part of strengthening border security, and we talked with a neighbor who says its presence makes people feel uneasy.
Enjoy these new barracks out here. They're pretty nice inside.
Governor Greg Abbott welcomed 300 National Guard soldiers to their new home, Camp Eagle. It's an 80-acre base camp that can hold up to 1,700 soldiers. Abbott toured the dorms, offices, and dining hall.
And then we'll have veggies and stuff.
This base camp is a far superior strategy.
These soldiers are part of Operation Lone Star, Abbott's plan to stop migrants from illegally crossing the border.
Texas will not stop until we gain full operational control of the border in the state of Texas.
Just 7 miles away is Shelby Park. In December, the land was filled with migrants, many seeking asylum.
The National Guard wired it shut.
Jesse Fuentes grew up in Eagle Pass. How has Operation Lone Star impacted your life?
I used to take people on the river to show them the beauty. Now I take them on the river to show them the beast.
Since January, Fuentes has watched the razor wire, shipping containers, and soldiers take over. Is there a world in which the state of Texas would give back control of Shelby Park to the city?
Well, so the desire to maintain control of Shelby Park is not long term. That's a park that the residents of that community deserve to be able to use like they did before.
What does that answer tell you?
They're never leaving. I mean, and that's what scares me.
Abbott says the takeover has led to a significant drop in crossings there in the last 2 months to just 2 a day. What do you think about that?
Thank you, Mexico.
Fuentes says Eagle Pass is welcoming to everyone, including these soldiers. He says he just wants them to respect the community.
You are the outsiders, not the people you're waiting for. You are the invaders, not the people that you're waiting for. So respect us and be humble and know where you're at. This is our community. Respect us.
And this base camp is being open in phases. Today was that first phase, and in just a couple of weeks, more soldiers are going to be moving in, about 300, and it'll be the same every couple of weeks or so.
All right, Danielle, this is a huge facility. Yeah. We're talking about 80 acres. How much is this costing Texas taxpayers?
Yeah, Steve, it's massive. I mean, we walked a good portion of it, and that's just what's open. So this facility, or this base camp, I should say, it's $130 million according to the proposal. By the way, the company that's building this is based out of New Braunfels. And Steve, it's not just dorms and a dining room. It includes, one of the things I saw was an arcade, a library, and they're even going to have a basketball court here.
Daniela, you just told us the price tag, and a big part of pushing this project for the governor, he was saying that this would save the taxpayers money in the long term. So where were the National Guard soldiers staying before?
Yeah, Stephanie, the Major General was telling us earlier today that a lot of these soldiers are staying in hotels around Eagle Pass. If they're lucky, some of them are even farther out. He also mentioned that some of them were staying at a base camp out in Carrizo Springs, which is about an hour away. And he says with this facility now being open, once it's fully done, they'll close about 3 base camps and move everyone here.
Danielle Ibarra reporting for us live from Operation Lone Star, Camp Eagle. Thanks, Danielle.
Now new at 5, found guilty yesterday, Rogelio Mujica learned that he's going to now spend the rest of his life in prison for the murder of his on and off girlfriend, Annette Juarez. Now a judge sentenced Mujica today. In March of 2019, her body was found in the passenger seat of her vehicle that was parked along Highway 90. Mujica was initially a person of interest, but her murder, or the crime of her murder, wasn't charged until 2022. And it took the jury just over 1 hour, just an hour, to convict Mujica.
Leaving rather than saving a life. A driver hits a woman with their vehicle, stops, then decides to drive off anyway, leaving the woman laying in the road. Police say that's exactly where she died. SAPD officers now looking for that driver. They say the victim was crossing near the intersection of Harry Wurzbach Road and Timberland Drive. That's not far from Riddleman Road. Happened about 10:30 last night. Police say, according to a witness, they saw an SUV hit that woman. That witness tells officers the driver stopped, then took off. The woman died at the scene. So far, no arrests have been made. Happening right now, the makers of Hyundai cars are in town with a software upgrade that they hope will fix a tough problem. They began installing that free computer program in cars today, which aims to outsmart certain car thieves.
Well, hopefully it does that. Katrina Weber shows us that Hyundai owners took them up on the offer on the first day of a weekend-long event.
Rain didn't keep cars from streaming into Gustafson Stadium this morning. Hyundai owners eager for a certain kind of help found it at the car maker's 3-day event.
People breaking in, vandalizing your car or stealing it, to me, that as an American, that's wrong.
Raul Esparza Jr. hopes Hyundai's free software upgrade might keep his parents' car safe from crooks. Videos on social media like TikTok had thieves targeting that brand and Kia cars. In fact, figures we obtained through an open records request show those 2 brands make up nearly half of the 18,000 stolen cars in San Antonio in the last year.
My daughter's going to go to work taking the kids to school, and there's no car, just glass on the ground.
His daughter's Hyundai actually got stolen twice.
We had to invest money into the car, buying new tires and rims.
The only cost now is time, a brief wait after checking in.
We'll put a little colored tag on the windshield, then that tells the technicians here in the tent what level of software the vehicle needs.
It has the engine and the VCM for the immobilizer.
Like a well-oiled machine, the workers handle the rest.
This is our 25th national event. We've had almost the same team with us the entire time.
The whole updating process takes less than 15 minutes. And if you notice, no one's really getting their hands dirty. These 2 devices are all the tools they need. But one more tool, a free steering wheel lock, does serve as a parting gift.
You are good to go. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for your service.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Another way Hyundai hopes to ease car owners' minds while giving car thieves a tougher time. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Got to be some relief. Now, today's clinic, that event is going to wrap up in less than an hour. If your Hyundai needs that anti-theft software update, that free update clinic, it continues tomorrow and Sunday. It's going to be at Gustafson Stadium. The software engineers are going to be there tomorrow from 8 to 6, and they're going to be there Sunday from 8 to 2. We also have this information on our website, KSAT.com.
A former Texas Secretary of State appears to be wading into San Antonio's 2025 mayoral race, though at the moment, he's still playing coy about it. Rolando Pablos served for close to 2 years under Governor Greg Abbott. This week, he launched a new group called Future First SA. A spokeswoman compared that to a nonpartisan think tank. It appears to be the assumed name of a nonprofit Pablos created in February. Its purpose is supposedly about creating a public policy blueprint ahead of next year's race. But political consultant Christian Archer says it's also a way Pablos can get out to raise money and his profile before he's constrained by the contribution limits that come with being an announced mayoral candidate.
He can call it a think tank. His people can say, what it is, but it's a very smart way of announcing to the world, I'm interested in running to be the next mayor, and I want to get feedback from you. Call it a think tank, give it a fancy name, all of those things. This is the opening salvo in the mayor's race for Rolando Pablos.
Before today, only 2 people have officially announced mayoral campaigns so far. They're District 8's John Courage and District 9's Manny Pelaez. By the way, a third outsider candidate put their hat in the ring today. Coming up at 6 p.m., meet Beto Altamirano and hear why the tech entrepreneur wants to be the next mayor of the Alamo City.
So in a few weeks, we could learn if former President Donald Trump is going to be sentenced to prison for his criminal conviction in that hush money case. If you remember yesterday, a New York jury found Trump guilty of all 34 counts of falsifying business records. Really an historic verdict that makes him the first former president in U.S. history to be convicted of a felony.
Julia Benbrook gives us a look at how Trump is responding today.
Former President Donald Trump speaking at Trump Tower the day after a jury found him guilty of all 34 counts of falsifying business records. He's the first former president to be convicted of a felony.
When they say falsifying business, that's a bad thing for me. I've never had that before.
As the presumptive GOP nominee, Trump is making it clear he's now focused on November as he seeks another 4 years in the White House.
November 5th is going to be the most important day in the history of our country.
He is likely to appeal the conviction, which could significantly delay his sentencing. Currently set for July 11th, just a few days before the Republican National Convention. The conviction does not impact his ability to run for president. His opponent, President Joe Biden, is also encouraging Americans to have their voices heard in November, writing, quote, "There's only one way to keep Donald Trump out of the Oval Office, at the ballot box."
The American principle that no one is above the law was reaffirmed.
It's difficult to know how or if the guilty verdict will impact voter decisions in November. But polling that came out before the verdict showed 67% of registered voters said a guilty verdict in this trial would not make a difference in their vote. Reporting in Manhattan, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Take a look at TransGuide right now. We're going to go near downtown, I-35 at Flores, and you can see the lower level and the upper level kind of slow going there, but traffic moving on pretty smoothly, which is good news on a Friday.
And another bit of good news is the rain that we had earlier this morning, just under 0.4 of an inch at the airport in town, Leon Springs, Roland's backyard, just under 0.2 of an inch. But you look elsewhere, Bulverde, 1.5 inches. New Braunfels, we had a wide range of readings in the rain gauges. In Michael's backyard, 0.44. And check out Helen's backyard in Seguin, 1.9 inches of rain. Of course, not everybody picked up that much. And temperatures with the lingering clouds have really been kept at bay. 90 the high temperature here in town, 89 the high in Hondo, and Del Rio 93 for the high temperature. And you see those clouds really lingering throughout the day today, and that kept our temperatures from popping up even higher into the 90s. As we go through this evening, temperatures falling off through the 80s. Will be 80 degrees at 10 o'clock. 20% chance of showers. I'll be back in a bit to talk about where I'm looking for some development tonight and tomorrow night. Steph?
All right, thank you. Now straight ahead on KSAT News at 5, many of you know that some tick bites can lead to Lyme disease, but did you know that a bite from a tick could also cause you to be allergic to meat? Yeah, it's a thing. We're going to tell you which tick can cause that condition and also how to spot it.
I'm Myra Arthur here in the newsroom, and here's what we're working on for the news at 6 o'clock.
If you know that you have lead in your pipes, why wouldn't you buy filters that filter lead? Our children.
Thousands of dollars spent to clean out lead in faucets and fountains at SAISD schools, but one parent is questioning that expense since the equipment installed was not designed to fix the issue. What SAISD superintendent had to say when KSAT asked him about that. That and more today on the news at 6.
This really sounds like something out of a sci-fi movie, a disease that can make you allergic to meat. Sounds fake, but it's real, very real, and an aggressive species of ticks is spreading this.
Yeah, 12 on your side's Maryland Moritz on the Lone Star tick and how to protect yourself from its nasty bite.
Dean Cecil kept breaking out in hives, but he didn't know why.
We finally figured out that it was from eating beef or hamburger.
Even more bizarre, Dean's doctor told him the allergy was caused by a tick bite.
I pulled the tick off of me, and it was a light brown tick with a white dot on its back.
It was a Lone Star tick, not named for Texas, but for the distinctive star-like white splotch on adult females. While other ticks spread germs that cause well-known diseases like Lyme, a bite from a Lone Star tick can cause a range of problems.
With these ticks, you have to worry about more than just meat allergies. They can also spread diseases like ehrlichiosis, which, if left untreated, can damage the brain or nervous system, and the Heartland virus, which can cause fever, fatigue, and joint pain.
Lone Star ticks used to be found mostly in the southeastern U.S., but they're spreading. They're now even found in northern states and Canada. One key way to protect against any type of tick bite is to use an effective insect repellent. Consumer Reports recommendations include Ben's Tick and Insect Repellent Wipes, Ben's Tick and Insect Repellent Wilderness Formula Pump, and 3M Ultrathon Insect Repellent 8. Those all contain DEET. Maryland Moritz, KSAT 12 News.
All right, so maybe you want to stay inside, all right? Even though it's pretty decent outside. I know, 89 degrees. Look at that. It's Friday. You already had a short work week because of Memorial Day, and now we're heading into the weekend.
Yep, headed into the weekend, and we still have a few more opportunities for some showers and storms, and even a little bit possible, I think, into the hill country over the next couple of hours. Not a high-end chance, just a little opportunity. And I've got some KSAT Connect photos of area rain gauges. Pretty impressive what we saw. Looking at authority radar at this moment, and you see the action far to the north of us, even just northwest of Austin. So it's far away, but this is important because this is an area we're watching where any development here could drift down into the hill country between now and 11 p.m. So that's why we're watching this part of Texas between San Angelo and Burnett. Should this continue to develop and maybe even organize a little bit, then there's a potential of some of those leftovers making it our way. And I do want to point out that this is a tornado-warned storm just north of Brady. Doesn't mean we'd have that same severity of storms should it drift into the hill country. I think more than anything, we would get the leftovers from it. So here's the satellite and radar over the past few hours. And yes, we had some good rainfall early this morning across parts of San Antonio and surrounding areas. But I want to get to our futurecast and what we're looking for tomorrow. So this evening, we're watching for that development that could drift into the hill country. If we're really lucky, we could get some leftovers in San Antonio by 10, 11 p.m. But as we focus into tomorrow, a stray pop-up shower or two possible early and middle of the day. But we're really watching West Texas tomorrow. Like I've been talking about for a few nights, our storm chances really hinge on what happens elsewhere in Texas, not just things developing overhead where we are, but moving in from other places. Indications are that we'll see some storms popping up in West Texas tomorrow afternoon and evening. And then with the kind of steering flow we have, some of that action could drift our way by tomorrow night. But as usual, not a slam dunk situation at all. We've got the chances at 30% right now. I know this model is pretty aggressive with it, but you can't really trust everything these computer models show in this type of a weather pattern. That's why we're keeping it at 30%. Earlier this morning, look at this. New Braunfels, a solid 1.8 inches. New Manor Creek, New Braunfels, that was good to see. And in Kerrville, 2 more inches of rain on top of the 2 inches that they had the other day. And this is nice. Good to see the Guadalupe River flowing, overlooking it from downtown Kerrville. And we'll take every drop we can get. We still have the extreme drought, particularly in Kerrville and parts of the hill country there. Looking at our forecast tomorrow, there's that 30% chance tomorrow night, and then we'll have a few more chances Monday night and Tuesday night. Our weather pattern is going to calm down a little bit next week. I'll talk about why that's going to happen and where the Big Blue H is going coming up at 6.
All right, thank you.
All right, Cowboys do a shuffle. Not the Super Bowl shuffle, but they do a shuffle.
Well, they really want to do the Super Bowl shuffle, though.
They really want to do that.
Yeah, so Tyler Guyton, their rookie offensive tackle, he's moving from right tackle where he played in college to left tackle in the NFL. So what kind of advice is Tyler Smith giving him? And Texans recently acquired running back Joe Mixon. He knows how to score touchdowns, and that's why they picked him up. Coming up.
Man, sky's the limit. That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to keep it at that.
That's running back Joe Mixon on the Texans' offensive potential this season in big board sports. So the Dallas Cowboys drafted offensive tackle Tyler Guyton. They did so with the intention of moving him from right tackle to left tackle to help protect Dak Prescott's blind side. And Guyton still has to earn the starting role next to left guard Tyler Smith, who's also played left tackle for the Cowboys. So what advice does Smith have for Guyton when it comes to switching?
I mean, I just tell him to be confident. I mean, his tools are outrageous. Dude's long, dude's athletic. You know, he has so many gifts. And right now, I'm just trying to give him the cheat codes, like anything that, I noticed at my time, playing tackle in terms of maybe he can, communicate something a certain way or take a step a different way, stuff like that. And so just bringing him up to speed as fast as possible.
Smith says he's excited to be a full-time left guard, the team's preference for him. In recent years, the Houston Texans have struggled to score rushing touchdowns, so that's why they traded for running back Joe Mixon. He had 9 rushing touchdowns with the Bengals last season, whereas the Texans only had 10 as a team. Once he's inside the red zone, Mixon has a knack for scoring touchdowns, and his explanation why is pretty simple.
I feel like it's all about will and want to, when you get down there. I mean, football is a grown man sport. And, you try to obviously impose your will on the other team. And me being 220 down there and all the linemen and fullbacks down there, I think that with momentum and full steam, we should be very successful.
The last time the Texans had a running back rush for at least 9 touchdowns was in 2012 when Arian Foster had 15. Top-ranked Texas shut out Stanford 4-0 last night at the Women's College World Series. Longhorns freshman pitcher Tegan Cavan was awesome going the distance, throwing 7 innings, allowing 1 hit, 4 walks with 8 strikeouts.
I knew I was prepared and that I've been in front of a big stage before, but just kind of staying locked in with Reese the whole time and calming my nerves and just breathing, really focusing on my breath.
Texas will next play the Florida Gators tomorrow night at 6 on ESPN.
Exciting time for college baseball and softball.
And softball,
yeah. Thanks, Larry.
Thank you. And we'll be right back.
Stray pop-up shower during the day possible tomorrow, 20% chance, but a slightly better chance tomorrow night at about 30 to 40%. 94 the high on Saturday. By Sunday, 96. So very similar temperatures as to what we've been experiencing. But hey, we're not talking triple digits. That's the good thing. Next week, we still have a few nightly rain chances Monday and Tuesday and high temperatures in the upper 90s by the middle part of the week. But again, at least that's not triple digits. I do want to point out when you factor in the humidity, it will feel like triple digits, about 100 to 104 during the afternoon hours this weekend.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sticking with us this entire week. We hope that you enjoy your weekend. You certainly deserve it.
We'll see you back here at 6 o'clock. World News is up next.